Welcome to Upwell, the podcast. I'm Sarah, and this is my beautiful co-host, Katie. As fellow female entrepreneurs turned friends and now business partners, we are so happy you're here.
With every episode, it is our sole purpose to share authentic conversations to inspire your personal level up. Take our curiosity, add your best intentions, and flow with us in the Upwell.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Upwell, the podcast. I'm Sarah, this is my beautiful co-host Katie, and we're so happy to have you.
Yes, welcome to the show.
And as you can see,
New space!
A new look for our
Updated
studio.
Space. Yes,
We went shopping.
Excited. We did go shopping. We're super fun. We're super happy about our finds and the new look of the space. We hope you like it too. So let us know what you think.
I know, and we would have never kind of guessed this that we pieced together. We were looking for something a little bit more modern and chic, and then all of a sudden we went retro, and we ran with it.
Yep. So let us know what you think, and yeah, we'll love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
But we are super excited today because we have our first in-studio guest here with us today. He is a dominant force in the health and fitness industry. He specializes in youth training, athletic performance, as well as promoting healthy aging. He is a multi-business owner. He owns a gym facility as well as an up-and-coming vegan restaurant. He is a devoted father, a devoted husband, and we are super duper happy he is here. Kris Calmese.
Thank you. Okay, that was really
I
know. Sheesh. I'm gonna remember that one. Have somebody. That's gonna be intro everywhere.
I want you to introduce yourself like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about your business and what you kind of focus on and
Who you are.
I have an evolving business, a fitness facility that I've been running for the last almost 12 years, and I've had about 8,000 clients over that time. We've accumulated over $7 million in college scholarships. Well, they've earned.
Yes.
And but we worked with senior citizens. Had a 72-year-old that could pole vault 14 feet 8 inches off the ground. 68-year-old that can run 11-12 second 100-meter dash.
Wow.
And you name it. I mean, then we have kids who've torn their ACLs at 15, 16 years old and played college football, for 4 years. So it's just a vast array. We got kids with ADHD and autism at age 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have a young man who's just there for confidence.
Perfect.
Then young ladies who play the game of volleyball and really never got the tools to learn how to use, their knees and ankles, which is really interesting how schools will send girls into sports without preparing their bodies at all.
Oh, not at all.
And they develop differently from
That's a
boys.
whole conversation.
That's a whole conversation.
Yeah, they do. So
Yeah.
you have to train them a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
And you just tell them go and jump,
Yeah.
just jump.
Yeah.
How did you get into the fitness industry? Was that something that you've always been passionate about? Did you experience, your own pitfall in some, through sports injuries or something like that?
Yeah, I grew up in a less than favorable situation, and I had to learn how to defend myself. And so that's kind of how it started. And so my mom caught on that I was trying to make myself stronger. And so she showed me Billy Blank's video.
Oh, wow.
Billy. Yeah.
Right, double time. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is he doing? He's showing people how to be healthy. And I was like, it's a job? And she goes, well, you'd have to create it yourself because people don't make much money doing it unless they record videos. And I was like, oh, okay. So then she's watching Richard Simmons and he's like doing his movements and people love him, people love him.
People were obsessed with Richard Simmons.
Right? And so when you consider the difference between the two of those guys, and I was like, anybody can do this if they really focus on it. So we had the World Book Encyclopedia and I looked up the human body and then I got into it from there. I was like 10.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And then life really got hard. And so as stimuli, my mom would get magazines. Well, she'd give me X-Men comic books and then fitness magazines.
Those are gold.
Right?
X-Men
Right,
comic books are gold.
And then those fitness magazines, like, just they weren't enough after a while. And then I just got back into like learning science.
Okay.
And so like I really suffered in school because I was diagnosed ADHD, and back in the 80s and early 90s, they thought of it like full-blown autism on a lot of spaces. So I was like in, classrooms with some kids that were nonverbal autistic, and like I missed a lot of social growth. And so in my time by myself, I would just sit and read that book, read the new
So learning and fitness became your
outlet.
outlet.
Encyclopedia Britannica after that, and then found their method of, they had the pages where it was like the body in prone position, the muscle, and then the clear pages with the numbers.
Oh yeah, that would go over it.
Yeah. And you would just find all the muscles and nerves, and I'd be like, that's just sternocleidomastoid. I'd be like that in like sophomore, like freshman year of high school. You'd be like, oh, you were lame.
Whatever. Yeah. I think it's cool.
I think
just
it's
saying,
great.
but that's what it is. You said your neck hurt. You need to learn how to, So anyway, it was just a life thing, and so like it was my getaway. And my best friend, we met when we were in 8th grade. I was in 8th grade. He was in 7th grade, and I could almost dunk. And I was like 13, and I wasn't even a basketball player. I didn't have any sort of
formal training.
Yeah, whatsoever. I didn't play catch with dad. So. He's like, how do you do that? I was like, man, I've been training. I do science. I practice fitness. And he was like, I want to do that. And so
that's awesome.
Then by the time we were like juniors in high school, we were throwing balls off backboards and catching them and flying over people and jumping over bikes and dunk contests. And
that's awesome.
And then other people wanted to train with me, and it just became a thing. So I ended up moving on into kinesiology at NIU. And then ISSA was one of the first ones, and then after that, I like kind of just started just getting certification after certification. CSCS. I went after NASM, but it just got to a point where I found myself trying to become more applicable for gyms, and there was no future in that.
Yes.
Every gym will take 70 or 80% of what you're making. You're putting all this blood, sweat, and tears, and they go, we got to pay the bills too. So I was too stubborn. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit under and I know that they didn't study like I did either. Like I hate to say it, like I just know people just didn't study like I did.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and even myself being a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer, it is a gym model. I mean, when you go through that, just the initial certification, if you're not doing your own homework and going and seeking other certifications on top of that, it's very gym model-esque. It's training you to be a trainer for someone else, pretty much.
Because I was NASM certified too, and I let it lapse because I had other things going on. But I worked in the gym setting. You worked in the gym setting. We all, So I worked at a very high end gym in downtown Chicago, and I was just like, so I get that. I respect that. Like the stubbornness and the research that you're doing, and you're going to these meetings, and it's like you're spewing information to the instructor. So
it's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. Yeah.
My first client was my little brother, and he ended up getting a hernia, and then I learned about hernias. Like it was just like fail after fail, and it was like, I sprained my ankle. I'm sick of spraining my ankle. Then I learned about the foot and ankle muscles. And then I was like jumping over cars, like no joke. Like we go to the club when I was 22, and the guys get out the car. I was like buttoning my shirt up, and I jump over the car and land right in front of the line and going into the club. We were going.
It's like a superhero. It's
like a superhero.
It's those X-Men comic books coming back.
Right? Yeah. I was like, man, and the thing is that people that knew me knew I did that stuff. I was just no joke, just like. My buddy Sean, my best friend, still to this day, he's my business partner, and on our board at a not-for-profit. And this dude is known as the highest jumper that people have ever seen on a basketball court. Like we were just training, We have pictures of him where his whole shoulder is over the bottom of a backboard and the ball back here behind his head.
That's some MJ
he's
stuff.
Like 6 feet away from the rim still.
Oh wow!
Like we were crazy athletes, and it just became a thing.
Yeah, I like that you said you turned your failure into an opportunity to learn. You know, anytime you said something happened, you took it as, this is a lesson. How can I grow from this? And that is such an important piece, I think, as trainers especially, or anyone that works in maybe in the healthcare system or, you know, anything like that that's looking to improve someone else's outcome. It's like, how can I take this maybe not so great thing that happened and alchemize it into something that potentially could help solve something in the future for myself or my clients. So that's awesome.
You know, ultimately everything is alchemy though. Like everything you're trying to succeed at. Like you gotta literally create the foundation within yourself. You know, like you can't just think you're gonna be a great trainer because you're really passionate about it. You can't be a great doctor just because you're passionate about it. You gotta be like in the book. You gotta be in it.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Now, what in your business within, you know, your training facility, what do you focus on? Like, what do you specialize in? You know, like the aging process is something that
short answer.
I know that's a loaded question, but like, I know from what I've heard about you that you really focus on like the aging process and how to age gracefully.
The human. Yeah. You know, like, cause we can say the age process, but like that statement you said earlier, the genetics loads the gun, the lifestyle pulls the trigger, right? It's not just the aging process. It started before you were born. Part of it, you know, a large part of it. So you have to first learn where you're starting from, you know? And so if you don't, then you can't properly practice your aging process well. So for one example is one person who was a basketball player and spent 25 years playing basketball and finally got done playing in there at 35 years old, 33 years old. Bad knees, bad back, but still looks pretty fit. Then another person who's never worked out a day in their life, right? And they're the same exact age. What diet works for both of them equally?
Nothing.
There isn't.
There isn't one.
Right.
No.
Say the guy who never worked out a day in his life came from families who had high blood pressure and died in their 50s, and now he's 35. What diet can that other guy do to help himself stay fit and healthy? Can he also do? There is no such thing. And so each individual needs an individual type of care. And so what we actually need is not a set diet or a set routine. What we need is constant education about what we are and constant evolution of that subject.
And I think that's a huge missing piece in the fitness world.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's a huge missing
in
piece.
society.
In society as a
you
whole,
know, and it makes a space for our poisonous diets. You know,
we just did an episode on diet culture a couple of weeks ago, and it was more on the end of kind of how the industry has profited off of women's and men's insecurities, you know, because they promise all these things of this one diet, you know, keto or anything you've ever heard, and they promise this outcome from this, you know, lifestyle or this diet.
And then they'll back it up with some BS science.
100%.
Like this scientists, and just to say that word. And it's sad because people are so easily affected in their minds by flashing lights, colors, and then the word scientist.
Well, and the
doctors.
word, and even the word success, like people see it works for you, it's going to work for me. And and you know more than anybody, that's just not true. So how can people hear that and not get frustrated? You know, what is what should the thought process be, or what can they do, you know, knowing that it's personalized to them? What can their plan of action be?
I'd say the first step is stop expecting anybody in the world to be more respectful of your needs than you, and start to embrace how much you need to take care of yourself. You know, like that's where it starts, because everybody's sacrificing themselves for everybody else and don't know that you can't even be a good offering while you're not taking care of yourself. Like, you can make great things happen. You can be creative, brilliant, but you're suffering. and you could do so much better if you had all of you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
I have goosebumps.
That was
so
good.
but
That was good.
it's just I mean, I just don't think we think about it.
Mhm.
You know, like a lot of men will hide illness until death.
Yes, agreed.
And I've known a lot of good people who could have changed the direction had they had one conversation with another person about it,
Mhm.
but we're so guarded that we would rather suffer in
silence.
And that's
suffer
a
with
societal
our
thing.
vices in
Yeah,
silence.
and that's a societal conditioning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like we want our vices and we'll quiet all the way down and die, or not even just die, just suffer for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
And don't even know, and then call it like, oh, that's just that old back. No, you know,
Exactly.
you're degenerating
Yes.
rapidly at an
Rapidly.
age that is only appropriate to you because of your experiences.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen people out there they're out there running and sprinting at 80. You know, like
Exactly.
That's my hope.
right.
That's my
but the
hope.
thing is, it's a self-care process.
Yeah.
You know, like we get up miserable,
Mhm.
have no pattern of self-care in the morning, you know, and people want to stay up late at night, like they're missing something. Then they end up missing something that they needed early in the morning. That is
Yes.
it really
We
is
talk about that a
profound,
lot,
right? Like
yes.
you just like the plants pull to the sun, so do you.
So do you.
And so, like, we don't hydrate in the morning. We start our day with things that are made by machines in our diets. And then we
Look at a screen.
immediately start looking at a screen and start moving into working into our pattern.
Yeah.
You didn't do what cats do. You didn't do, you know what I mean?
Right.
Dogs do it. All animals do
Stretch
it.
Yes.
They
before
stretch
anything.
before they do anything.
Yeah.
Like and we just pop right up, and we don't know that that's also part of the mood.
Mhm.
That's also why you don't want to go and work out. That's also why you're afraid to, and why you get so sore.
Mhm.
You don't even move, you know.
Mhm.
And so, like, there's steps to this, and that process that we're discussing, aging, it starts from before you were here, and it's acknowledging all that you did go through and didn't exceed in physically, and then start from there. You can't go doing no plyometrics if you've never played a sport.
Yeah.
You know, just be realistic.
Yep.
You probably should be doing like stretching first and then going to some lunges, maybe some yoga.
Some strength and
You know,
stretch.
and,
Yeah.
like loosen up your body first, create range of motion, and then create strength.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
a lot of people undereat, you know, and then that's always
So many people
brushed
agree.
under the rug because of overeating.
Mhm.
And it's wild because like people are suffering, you know, hair falling out, digestive issues, hormone problems, migraines, skin issues,
Yeah.
not even just that, eyesight issues,
Your
bone
nails,
density
yeah.
decay, like it's so many things that happen while you're under eating, and people think that's a way to lose weight, you know, and it's really
Calories
not.
in, calories out.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I recently just read a report on the smells of your body are a huge indicator too
Yeah.
of nutrition. That I found fascinating. Like
yeah,
that one
your
was
flora.
yes,
Yeah,
was
it has to
fascinating.
do
I'll have to read
Yes.
that one.
Billions of flora. Do you know about intestinal flora?
Yes.
There's like trillions.
Trillions,
Yeah,
yes.
like they
Mhm.
outnumber you. They're more you
You
than
than you.
Yep.
Yep.
When people get so worried about germs, I'm like, you know how many are inside of you?
Like yeah.
Like, you know how many bugs are in you right
Yeah,
now? You
you
probably
gotta-
don't know.
In fact, when they get introduced in your body, most likely they're like, which side am I going to choose? And
Yeah.
you see the majority
Right.
of good and evolve into that. Like, that is reality.
Exactly.
But we are in such a dark space in self-care and health in our country.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so like,
And I think that a lot of people forget too that self-care is more than just like the bubble baths and a glass of wine after a
Pizza and Netflix is not self-care.
Like to me, self-care is, you know, balancing your checkbook every week, and it's, you know, removing negative people from your life, and it's, you know, it's doing hard stuff, not just the fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
In order to, and self-care is working out, which working out you might hate it, you might hate running, you
It might be
hate
challenging at
it's
first.
going to be challenging.
yeah, I hate running, but I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I hate it and I don't do it, and I'm I'm working on it. I'm working on changing my mindset.
It's so important.
I'll never run a marathon though.
So no. So check this out. Subject of aging, right? There are 5 things that humans give up that make us age fast.
Okay.
Physically. Running, full speed.
Sprinting, yeah.
Yep. Walking laterally, walking backwards, jumping. It's like the biggest one. It's the first one everyone lets go of.
Because there's such a stigma around injury and aging.
Right.
And standing up on your toes.
Interesting.
It's the 5 things.
I'm going to do those 5
I'm going to do those every day.
Every day.
I'm going to do them every day.
Everybody should. But when you watch, seniors, if you watch them, their feet are flat on the ground. You know, backs are bent over, and they shrink because of it, and because of lack of movement and not enough muscle to sustain upright posture. You cannot.
I feel like I need to sit
I
up
know. I was
straight.
like,
But yeah, I mean, you should have the straight and the curve. Like,
yes.
You should not avoid the curve. You need all of those ranges of motion.
Right.
So, but the process of degeneration starts with the reduction of movement, and then people who get vertigo as we age or dizziness spells, often that is what I call a degenerated proprioception level, or
because they're always moving in the same direction and never lateral backwards.
When they get up, they get dizzy. It's because when's the last time you jumped?
Yeah,
you know,
that makes so much sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Vestibular sense. Are you aware of the vestibular sense? So that governs your ability to balance. And so, the more you move, the less you move and the less you balance, the less you have the ability to. So that's another thing that we need to practice.
Yeah.
Then.
And real quick, for those that might not know what proprioception is, that is just your awareness of yourself within space. No, that's okay. Just in case, you know,
we're with you.
We're with you, but just in case, you know, others might not know what that means.
It's your movement. It's people who are capable of doing backflips are less likely to have vertigo than everybody else in the world.
Right.
You know,
because they can send their body in so many directions.
And control it, you know, and land it and see the world move around them and still land in bodily control.
Right.
Most people won't turn around fast. They'll get dizzy because they don't move.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think cricket, you know, handball, badminton, you know, getting into things that make you have to use your body. That is what covers all of those. So I think everybody needs some sort of a physical sport that they play that obligates them to move. Tennis.
Yeah. Even pickleball is so big right now.
Yeah,
pickleball
is
huge right now.
And it's great. Like we're just not catching on to other sports that
I know.
everyone else has been doing for thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah. Just coming back around.
What's football? You know, come on, y'all. It's a big sport, but yeah. So like we got. I mean, even just playing soccer in a small space, practicing the coordination of like your head and eye and foot, and hands and how your hands and ankles respond to a ball that you need to get to as a goalie. You know what I mean? Like just the fun of that brings out endorphins that you know that will charge the body in a way that promotes healing. And so like we're so afraid of movement because we don't move. And then when you give a person an opportunity to move, most people will try not to.
Yeah.
Like it's just they'll try not to, rather like take the escalator or.
Well, I think one of a natural. I don't want to say natural. I don't know if that's the correct word. Our body wants to reserve as much energy as possible, so we're always going to take the path of least resistance in order to preserve that energy. And from what I believe I've read, that's like an instinctual thing, but it's getting yourself past that and flipping that neurological like response with that.
I would beg to differ with that a little bit.
Really?
Because
Okay.
there are people who,
And again, I don't remember if I'm remembering that correctly.
I know about the subject, but
Yeah.
I've always disagreed with that because
Okay.
there's just so many people that just move. Their body just pulls them up. You know, like they just.
That's me. A body in motion stays in motion.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
absolutely.
from
love
the
that.
there. I mean, You ever seen those Kenyans that run 90 miles?
Oh yeah, just because.
They didn't do that. They didn't learn that one day.
Right.
You know, so there's certain bodies, and also I think that our genetics have to do with a part of that, you know, coming from more sedentary backgrounds and families.
Right.
That's part of that. But when you like are the grandson of a great boxer whose father is also a great boxer, you're not going to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be, you know, a lazy person. Not lazy, but less more inclined to be less active.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads me to another question that we wanted to ask you, and it's, you know, we understand the importance of activity as we age, and, you know, maintaining balance and just staying well as you age. But for someone maybe that is, I think people now think 30 is old, which I think is insane, because I don't feel old at all. But for someone that maybe thinks it's like too late for them, or say they're later in their life and they know they want to make some changes, they want to add more activity, what are some tips or maybe some advice that you can give someone that does want to get away from being so sedentary, or maybe they want to break that chain or that cycle that's happening in their family and they are just ready to become more active but don't know where to start?
Okay, I'd say first start making something visually that you can be held accountable with, because humans are moody individuals, and also we carry so much fight or flight that the next moment it just won't register the same way. So we need something visual that holds accountability, that says, today I'm going to do these things. So you start there. But activity-wise, I think the first thing to do is start working on opening up the depth of breath, so the body can be able to oxygenate itself properly when you carry out cardiovascular or physical activity. Because there's going into physical activity without any preparation whatsoever, you're going to feel like you're dead no matter what you do, to the point where you think that walking is cardio. Okay. So you got to kind of first prepare your lungs so that you can handle the activity. There's no way that a person can walk into a gym and just go for a jog without having jogged. You know, your ankles, knees, your lungs are not oxygenating joints properly. You may have some numbness at times. You should never run in that situation. So there's so many different factors like in that. That's what I do with my evaluations with people who just start. We talk about how much water you drank, when's the last time you did activity, when's the last time you stretched, when's the last time you had a major injury. And then I put them on this machine, the tread climber. It's old school. Has 2 little treadmills for each leg.
I love those.
And it lets me know which hip is off.
Okay.
Which one's strong, which one's weak. And then we work on stretching and range of motion. Because that's where you have to start. You have to reintroduce your muscles to activity by first going through range of motion. After that, after a good routine of that for a while, then you can introduce like, you know, lateral walking, backwards, high knees, some knee bends and hamstring type of things. But I would suggest getting a trainer, like, because the problem is that people go into gyms and do what they want to do, and not so much of what they need to do. And like a person will say, I want abs, and will sit there and do like one of those sitting punch machines like this, creating this imbalance where you're building muscle in the abs and nothing in the back. And then wonder. I
hate ab machines. They are my least favorite.
There's no free movement in that. And your abs are small. Your core is like everything in every range of motion, you know, like, so this will create a great bulk of muscle that the rest will never catch up to. Or like a dude will be like, oh, I want to get chest, and you just sit and do this push machine with no bar, no dumbbell, like just a machine that moves in this straight motion like this. You know, and then go and do another machine that does this straight motion like this. Shoulder moving out of, I don't know what it is. I just gotta, and then that ruins the whole gym.
You're like, well, this joint is supposed to go all the way around.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, but you're doing this and this. Like, there's so many different. In your opinion,
those machines, because coming from my standpoint, I guess, as a personal trainer, those can have benefit to people that are just intimidated in the beginning. To me, the only time I want to see people on machines is if they're brand new to the gym, and that's the only way they're going to walk in the door, is if they will use those in the beginning. Again, not staying with them forever, but is there a downside to using them, or is there any other way that you potentially could use them that would be beneficial?
How can you use machines in a balanced way if you don't understand kinesthetic function? How do you not, if you don't understand the importance of balance in every direction, and the machines only move in one direction?
Yeah.
You have many different ranges of motion. People look at images and how a body looks and they think that that's what they're pursuing, not knowing that functionality is the really most important thing of all. Range of motion, the ability to use your muscle. Like if you can't do 1 pound dumbbells from here to here without dropping your elbows, you do not need to be pushing a push press.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's my point. Like,
and I love that you said, I'm going to steal that, functionality.
Yeah.
To me, that is the epitome of aging. When people talk about their bodies like falling apart as they're aging, or, oh, this hurts, or this is that, you know, blah, 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 or I can't do this anymore.
Right.
It all comes down to functionality. And I think that's what people want, you know, as they go through life. They don't want to lose function of their bodies, because you know, that's, to me, that's when your life ends. It's not when they put you in the ground. It's when you can no longer do the things that you desire to do while you're upright.
My dislike with the machines when I was a trainer was that everybody's body, yes, we all have shoulder joints, knee joints, everything, but our actual joints are no two joints are the same, even from one to the other. And so like somebody might have deeper joints, so their ability to move this way, mine might be better, but they might have more flexibility or mobility the other way. But that's bone structure, and that's like their tendon structure and their ligament structure and everything. So when you get somebody in that isolated movement of a machine, they're not able to move their body how their body is made to move.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm against machines. The only machines that I will, and I don't even know if I really consider a machine cable machines, because you do have a little bit more, you have a little bit more range with it. But like for myself, hamstring curls, like, you know, leg extensions, I don't do any of those, because I always get off anytime I try one of those, I get off of them and my body hurts, and I'm like, my body is not made to move how like this is telling me I'm supposed to move.
Yeah, so like that's why I use the tread climb, because if you're using a hamstring curl and you have one leg that's weaker than the other, you're gonna pull harder with the stronger leg. You're gonna create a wider divide.
Bigger imbalance.
If you have one shoulder that's weaker than the other, when you're pushing, a lot of people like do all this stuff and not know you didn't push anything, and then you get that in movement.
Right.
Then you get people that'll push and will push harder with one side, and don't get that is the thing that makes you have long-term issues with working out. You want to take care of your time that is regarded your weightlifting. You know, for your weightlifting, that time should be devoted to improving the range of motion and the strength within your range of motion, not necessarily just making something look good. Because if you do that, if you take the time and improve the range of motion, you're gonna look good. You're like, it's going to happen. Absolutely, if you're continually doing it. I'm 45, and I like talk to my friends about the health thing, and they hate it, you know, and you can tell like through the health issues the difference, you know. And it's not, I mean, anything could happen any given day, but the difference in your perspective of what fun is changes when you can move.
Bingo.
Like when I talk to my friends and I hear what fun is, it's like limited to a certain type of thing. You know, I was like just talking about like this winter I'm going back. So when I was like 38, I learned how to snowboard, and when I was 41, I learned how to ice skate.
Beautiful.
And so now I'm like, I want to go. I've gone snowboarding and fell a bunch of times. I love it. And from where I'm from, nobody did that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I gotta go do this again. And my guy is like, man, you're gonna end up tearing the ACL or something. And I was like, have you seen what I do, dude? Are you kidding me?
This is one of the safer things I do.
For him, like, but it's through the perspective of his own life.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And
he sees it as something to be feared, you know, as you age, and you think it's fun.
Perspective of yourself, you know? And so, like that. And then, like, I want to do mountain climbs and things and things that are truly physically challenging, and you get these crazy experiences in this place where you would never get to if you weren't in shape. And so it's not about like I'm trying to be thin. I don't care about what my abs look like or nothing. It really is just, will I still be able to dunk a basketball when I'm 50?
Yeah.
Will I still be able to run full speed when I'm 85? You know?
How can
no
I
pains,
fully experience my life?
No issues, no joint problems, no medications, no limitations on your frame. If you're walking across the street and you saw a car coming, you won't be stuck. You can run out of the way, you know? Like the ability to adapt to the world. If we're walking down the street and a guy grabs her purse, I'll catch him. And like that's like it should be a thing. Actually, she probably catch him. I like that. But in reality though, like that's what we're missing in it. It's useful to be interested in self-care. And so like you're saying, the starting point should be like, I have to learn about my body, all these different things, my gut flora, my hydration level. Stop paying attention to the macros and micros and start paying attention to the ingredients and what you're eating first. You know, the value of meditation and separating your mind away from the practice of the development of your ego and like sit in the stillness of isness, you know. How much do you really value yourself, you know, and your in the way that you are in your relationships with other people? How much do you let other people's energy affect you? There's so many levels to it, you know, and I think that our trainers now are so busy being caught up on functioning in the gym, and we're not trying to function in life itself, you know, human experience. And so I think that's what we need to evolve into. So I've trained a bunch of trainers, and like they know a bunch of training exercises, but they all know like you got to be a part of the mind.
Because society we've gotten into the habit of, and I'm generalizing here, but so many people are letting a doctor know their body, or they're letting somebody else, they're outsourcing what they are, what their makeup is, to somebody else, and we're losing the connection of the desire to want to know what is going on. And I feel like maybe the more we talk about this, and the more we, you know, we all have, you know, clients, the more we talk about that, we can start to shorten that disconnect between people to where they're really starting to take ownership of like what they're feeling inside, and understanding like, okay, I'm feeling this way when I wake up. It's probably because of this. I didn't do this yesterday, or I did too much of this. But there's that huge disconnect right now that I see, at least with my clients, and I'm trying so hard to.
That is a thing that is a result of the market.
Correct. Oh, for sure. Yes.
And when we're in that space where we're talking to people about like trying to be connected, most people's minds are already affected by the stimuli that they always continue to pay attention to.
Yep, that dopamine fix.
They're like, your brain only has so much energy that it can produce.
Yes.
And you expend it on entertainment.
Correct.
Yep.
And so staring at things that have no benefit, that will affect that process, and they want to fill their time with just that. And so that, I think, gets in the way.
Correct.
Agreed.
What are you spending your time on, your mind on?
Yes.
Because if you're spending your time on your mind on like just unhealthy, dangerous, violent, I love scary movies, you know, but I have to put them in a certain place so that they don't affect me, because they make people have dreams, and that affects your hormones, and then the next day it affects your day, and then you don't even know it's affecting your day. So that's what I mean, like
10 years down the road, it creates a personality characteristic, if we're going to get into epigenetics. But you know what I mean? Like a bad mood can turn into it
becomes
a thing.
Yeah.
It becomes ingrained into your DNA.
There is an Indian word, pratityasamutpada.
Say that one more time.
Pratityasamutpada.
Okay.
And it literally means it takes 1 trillion times 1 trillion things to make this moment happen.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
It took it all.
Yeah.
All of the wars, all of it.
everything
to make right now happen.
right.
So even to that thing that becomes a trait, it's that one watching that movie that you let affect you and not become aware of how much it affected you, and then it becomes a thing. And it becomes more of a thing. It multiplies like cells of cells, everything, you know, that you foster in your mind becomes a thing.
Right.
So and you can't shake it if you're not aware of it. And so like I don't think that there is a machine that works well for anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a Planet Fitness that is appropriate, because there is no learning.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's learning. You need to learn about your body. There's no go and spend. I know we want to say it's only X amount % of the day to go get a workout. I get that, but there needs to be more to that devotion than just that.
Right.
If you really care about what you are. And then I think also too, we need to teach it to the young so that when they bear children or leading up to that, they'll care about what they're doing to themselves.
For sure.
So that's a big thing. And we like, I don't know why all these.
Yeah.
We definitely would love to have you back on to talk about the flip side. I know today we talked a lot about aging and, you know, feeling great as you go through life, but I would love to have a whole conversation about, you know, youth and what we can do, how we can impact and start to change the health outcomes in this country, because some of the statistics are just so scary right now. If you look at
every illness, including cancers,
even
depression.
I know.
Anxiety,
mental health, diabetes is
autoimmune diseases.
And brain disorders resulting from medications on small children.
Yes.
The effect of parasites in our diets and our consumption on the brain and the flora. The effect of consuming fried foods at a young age while you're producing cells to become what you're going to be.
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat.
Very
There's
literally.
no way around it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we can't wait to have hopefully more
conversations with you.
I do this. Yeah, I love this stuff. Like a lot of people don't want to hear like you're also consuming the terror in the animals that you consume. You know, hormones and the terror, like a mother cow who screams crying for up to a month from the calf that was taken from them, and then they milk them and that's what
then we go get our ice cream.
You know, so like there's so many different chickens that people eat. Their beaks are burned off, and their
factory farming is
oh my god
terrifying.
The small farm is what's missing.
Yep,
it's what's missing.
Yes,
we could have a whole episode about regenerative farming. I love that too. Well, I think we're probably just about out of time. You know, we could talk to you all day long.
All day long, yes. So why don't you let everybody know where they can find you online if you would like, website, socials, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, departmentofhealthandfitness.org is our not-for-profit geared gym, where our clients' payments go towards our ability to offer free services to children with special needs and low-income households.
Beautiful.
And then our kitchen bench, Bridging Earth's Nutritional Gaps, is located in the same mall that our gym's in. The website is bingefoods.com, BENGFOODS.com. And at our restaurant, we serve whole food, plant-based recipes.
And they're amazing.
My recipes and my wife's recipes. And there are no preservatives, no hormones, no cholesterol, no parasites, no high fructose corn syrup,
none of the seeds,
none of the trash.
It's amazing.
It's real ingredients.
No trash, all taste. That's a good.
I'm still working on a few new things. I got a few items that I'm going to bring in. I have so many different things that I could bring out, but I can't because we have to first develop a following before we start going too far.
Well, you're getting there, and we hope that hopefully this episode contributes to all the incredible things that you have going right now, because we look forward to seeing you grow and you be able to bring all these things to our local community and hopefully expand even beyond at some point because you're doing amazing things. So.
And then, are you on socials with those as well? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, on Facebook, you can just look us up, Department of Health and Fitness, or Benj, BENG. Look us up.
Yep, we'll link.
Absolutely.
We will link
We'll
all
link
of
all that in the
Kris's
show notes.
in the show notes, so
Thank
you will
you.
be able to click right on that.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode of Upwell the Podcast. You can find us online at Upwell the Podcast on all the places. You can find myself personally at barefoot.katie. You can find Sarah at Sarah Behrens. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of the world around you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.